this year, I hopped on a plane to visit Melbourne 3 times. I graduated, started a design internship, got paid to create content, got monetized on YouTube, got more tattoos, started Pilates, paid off my student debt, finished my first branding project. I was lost and confused, but I had faith that things would work out for me, and it did. We have 1 week left to 2023, guys, and you might be watching this in 2024, which is so fine. I believe it's never too late for change or new beginnings. Let's say you want 2024 to be your best year yet, or you're new to this whole planning thing, then this video is the one for you, because I'll be covering 4 essential tips to planning and executing your vision to a fulfilling year. Now, before we look forward, I think it's super important to start by looking backwards, because hindsight is 2020, and that sounds like a reflection. That means going through my calendar, looking through my galleries, because I'm sure I've forgotten a lot about this year. I bet you if you also took a look in your calendar and took a look in your galleries, you'll find that a lot has actually happened this year, and you'll find things to be very happy about. Moving on, I then like to take note of what's been working for me and what hasn't been working for me. This one is a little bit more related to your daily choices and habits. By recognizing what doesn't work for you is essentially the first step to making sure that things do work for you and that you don't make the same mistakes. We can all learn from that and become our better selves. I've noticed that when I start my day with a video, like while I'm getting ready, I tend to get started with my day like much later. It takes me maybe like an hour or 2 to actually get off my phone and then get productive, which is not something that I want to bring into 2024. Another one that doesn't work for me, and it took me a long time to realize this one, is the use of yearly journals or like diaries, because I for some reason cannot commit to a book for the entire year. Like, I always move between Google Calendar, Notion, and I have moments with Apple Notes, and you can see where this is going. It's very chaotic, so I will probably not be buying myself another yearly journal.
I already bought one in preparation for the year, but you know, when I did this reflection, I realized that, why am I doing this? Because I know this is not going to work.
But I still do have tendencies to put pen to paper, so when I do have those moments, I can find places that also do sell monthly journals that are undated, and I can work with that. On the flip side, habit stacking has been working extremely well for me, and I learned this from Atomic Habits by James Clear, which is a book that I mentioned in my weight loss video. If you haven't heard about the book, then I will put a link down below for you to check out after this video. And when I say this book changed my life, it changed my life. Essentially, habit stacking is pairing a new habit with an existing one. I already had an established habit of putting my gym outfit at my bedhead right before I go to sleep. So then my new habit would be to immediately change into that gym outfit as soon as I'm awake. This can get even more complex. Like, I will go and get ready after that, and then I will grab a bottle of water, I will get my oxy shred, I will grab my shoes, and I'm out the door. And that, in summation, is how I built my morning routine. If it's working, then you can keep going and maybe build on these methods. And if it's not working for you, then you can leave them behind in 2023. We don't need to make these mistakes again. All right, it's time to say goodbye to 2023 and start preparing for 2024. Moving on to tip number 2, which is setting goals and intentions. Now, before we actually do get started with this, I think it's really important that we know the difference. I know we've all done it. We've set that goal where we're like, oh, I want to be healthier. But what does being healthier even mean? Like, was I healthy in 2023? Or like, is my version of healthy the same as your version of healthy? It's just so subjective. Goals are usually measurable and completed within a certain time frame. For example, I want to earn X amount of money by June next year, or I want to gain X number of subscribers by April. Those are goals that you can actually tick off. Intentions are not so measurable. They're usually kind of vague. An example would be, I want to be healthier, which is not something that you can tick off a list. What I like to do first is to set my intentions for the year, and then I will set the goals with specific outcomes to meet those intentions. If my intention for next year is to be more fashionable, then one of the goals that I can set for that would be to curate 10 outfits on Pinterest that I can use on rotate. 10 outfits, easy peasy, let's get it done, tick it off the list. Or I can declutter my wardrobe once a month. This is actually one of my intentions for next next year, and I've already downloaded an app to help me plan my outfits for next year, so I'm super excited to do that. I do need to set aside a day to just like set up all of my outfits that are in my wardrobe. I'd say writing down roughly 3 to 5 intentions and then 5 or so goals to match the intentions would be a great place to start. You can do more, you can do less. My intentions are in no particular order: to grow my YouTube channel, to spend more time with my family, to be healthier, to work on my personal style, to grow my real estate portfolio. Moving on to tip number 3. Who is your best self? What does your routine look like? What are your hobbies? What car do you drive? What fragrance do you use? What brand of fragrance do you use? Whatever it is that you manifest for your future self, write them down, but just remember to be specific. Now, you're probably thinking we should have done this exercise first and then set our intentions and goals. I found it quite interesting doing it in the reverse order, and I'll explain that in a little bit. I think one of the problems with manifesting our future self or best self is that we tend to keep things quite conservative. There's no problem with being a little bit delulu and dreaming big, you know. What is it that you want? Why do you want it? And write it down. No one has to know what it is that you want. Had I just created the best version of myself, how would that differ if I was to create my goals and intentions without that guidance, without that direction? It's interesting to see how the decisions I make now will directly impact my trajectory later. So if I decide to do this, where would that bring me? Does that actually align with where I want to go? Because this is all based on the me right now, whereas now that we're planning our best version, we can sort of track down if these align, if you know what I mean. Whereas if you were to just create your best version and then work towards doing that, you might be putting things aside that you actually do really care about and you didn't realize. So I think it's a great way to find out your priorities and your interests. I hope that all made sense. That was kind of a lot. Let me know if you need help understanding. I will try and explain further down in the comments. Dream big, and hopefully we can do this exercise again next year. Maybe that best version will change. Who knows? If the reverse order of these tips actually did help you with some kind of alignment or a perspective, then I'd love to hear about it, because I was so mind blown when I found out that the person that I first wanted to be wasn't completely aligned with what I was going to do. The next tip I have for you guys is decluttering and a self glow up. I won't touch too much on this topic because there's a lot out there. We all sort of know what to do with decluttering. But since we only have 1 week and not that much time, the first thing I would try and tackle is that pile of random things that are just sitting on your bedside table, sitting on your desk, or maybe it's the entryway, maybe it's the kitchen counter. That is true clutter, and once that is gone, everything is gonna feel like just maintenance. It might just be bills that you've already paid for. For your wardrobe, instead of tackling the entire wardrobe in one day, I would say grab 10 items, maybe 15 if you want to be extra, maybe 20, and put them aside. Put them in a bag and donate them or sell them online, like on Depop. At least you set it aside, or you'll do something about it next year. And of course, we're not going to skip our phones. We use this every day. We need it to be optimized at all times. Find 10 apps you can delete. And maybe the app isn't even on your home screen anymore. So that would be one way that you've probably accrued some of that clutter in your phone. Same goes for emails. I try to find 10 email subscriptions to unsubscribe to and then clear your spam. This one might take a little bit of time, but going through your inbox to achieve inbox zero. That is how I would approach a decluttering with only 1 week left to go for the year. And then I also wanted to talk about self-care. We want to feel different as well when we walk into the new year. Maybe it's a new haircut. Maybe you want to start your year with a massage, like you're fully stretched out or something. I don't know, like whatever it is that makes you feel good. Try and do it before the new year. I'm actually really considering getting like my eyebrows done so that I don't have to spend time doing them every morning, but I'm so scared that they'll turn out like really badly. I'd also really love to do a 6-month check-in, because a year is a really long time and I don't want to wait until the end of the year to find out that I've been off track. So look forward to that, and I hope you liked the video. I'll see you in my next one.